world, on this day, I am unmasked without a shield. I am confetti, green, white, red, yellow, blue, all the colors of the rainbow. Pieces of roles I play, shifting identities, wife, nurse, writer, sister, aunt, performer, friend, kitty mom. All these roles tossed in a hurricane winds and scattered everywhere. So many pieces of me out of reach, and I fear they're gone forever. Masking was an event, a pandemic, a lockdown. Unmasking is a process. And what I have found, dear world, is that you are changing. So what's my identity in this new world? Now without a mask, where there are confetti pieces of me everywhere. I thought I'd experienced the worst fear during the pandemic. But what I'm facing now, unmasked, it's a world I don't know anymore. An America I don't know anymore. Maybe the mask was over my eyes instead of my mouth. Because unmasking now, I see a country more severely divided, even worse since the previous guy lost in 2020. Thank you, Goddess. Our sense of community has dissolved. We've become a nomadic tribe of lost individuals and too many people who are all about me, and wanting to disengage from community. And when we disengage, we lose the potential of who we can be together. We've been spoiled. And being spoiled is getting everything we want and nothing we need. Spoiling is taking something ripe and beautiful and at its fullest potential and letting it rot and decay. And when I remove my mask, I smell the rot. Dear world, I'm in a state of flux, tossed everywhere. How do I find all my pieces and gather them back? Like these pieces that landed in the life of a woman who was brutally raped, got pregnant, and must endure a forced childbirth because certain entitled men insist that she do so. I gave a speech in high school about abortion when it was still illegal in 1967, about body pieces wrapped in newspaper and found in garbage cans along a New York alley from botched abortions. Oh, and here are pieces of me in Uvalde. And there's a little girl who I can't see because her head is gone and her face is gone. She's just a body with green tennis shoes and a heart drawn on one of them. Because certain men and women won't vote for gun safety. Oh, here's more of me here. Here's me with a woman in Georgia where they want to restrict how and when she can vote. These people want to redistrict, draw random lines so they can win where otherwise they know they can't. They won't give her the fair chance she deserves. Over here I'm with an elderly woman who must choose between dinner and heart medicine. And here's someone else who needs cancer surgery, but they have to give up their house or just die. Here I am with a Muslim and a Buddhist and an atheist Dear world, why does my God have to look like yours? And if I don't want a God, why must I have one? And here's a piece of me with a human who does not identify with their gender at birth and is told they must choose to live with severe trauma and suffering. Or choose a fate like Matthew Shepard, who was beaten and tortured and left to die in Laramie, Wyoming. Book bans, don't say gay, laws against transgenders, more evil perpetrated by intolerance. And here I want to hold a young Black girl who I saw perform at our local Kiggins Theater. And she was crying because she was terrified to get a driver's license, afraid she'll lose her life just for driving a car. And here my pieces are trampled in a traitorous insurrection that certain men want to call a peaceful protest. I watch in horror at the rise of white nationalism because of a big lie perpetrated by a sore loser who tried to overturn our democracy. And over here are pieces of me buried in rubble in Ukraine. Dear world, I don't want privilege unless everyone can have the same privilege. Here's one more piece of me with a woman I saw nearly 30 years ago, who I still think about today. We had just moved to Vancouver, Washington. I was newly sober and I knew I had to go to 12-step meetings and do community service. I was taught early in sobriety to look for similarities with other drunks and addicts. Don't look at the differences, they told me, but I usually forgot. So I signed up to open an afternoon women's meeting downtown. I'd get there early, set up the chairs, make the coffee, choose a topic for discussion at our meeting. That morning, I'd been upset that our cleaning ladies missed a spot on the floor, and I had to get on my knees and clean it. So I prepared for the meeting, pondering what to do about the cleaning people. And then the first woman showed up for the meeting. There was dirt under her fingernails, holes in her jeans before it was fashionable, frayed edges on all her clothes, and her hair looked like it hadn't been washed in weeks. I looked at my polished nails and my pressed pleated pants, and suddenly I felt like an imposter. I felt ashamed, and I wonder how she'd ever find anything in common with me. How could I bridge that gap? During the meeting, she cried and talked about her children, how she lost them because of her addictions, how she was on the run from her pimp in Portland, who beat her, left her bruised, and who was at that moment looking for her. And when he found her, he was going to kill her. She was trying to stay sober, find a job, get her kids back. She was sleeping in doorways, always with one eye open. I thought about the children she hadn't been able to see. And I remembered the only pregnancy that I had, a child I would never see. I didn't lose that child to abortion. I lost that child to a man who insisted I have an abortion. I remembered my other bruises and black eyes from yet another man, and how I'd sold my body in ways called marriage and relationships just to get another fix, a roof over my head, or so I could feel safe. And I realized how much more honest her life was than mine. You know, I think if we all dig deep, we will find our similarities. Now, with parts of me scattered everywhere, what if I can only find a few pieces? But maybe I don't need all those pieces. Maybe if I have less, the world will have more. I guess what I'm saying is dark times weren't over when I took off my mask. Dear world, on this day, this is me, unmasked, confetti blown everywhere, parts of me out of reach. I don't know who I am yet, unmasked, because the world has changed. I've changed. Dear world, please help us save you.